I'm going to my first frat party tomorrow. Have to experience at least one, I've decided. Let me tell you my experience. This was about 6 years ago. I decided, hey, I'm going to a frat party because my roommate at the time was in a fraternity. It's a very popular fraternity. I think it's like Kappa Sigma or something. And they would like call it Kappa Sig for short. And I was like, dude, that sounds fun as fuck. Free alcohol there. Hell yeah. So I leave the house, right? Did a little pre-gaming, took an Uber. I get there. It, no joke, was maybe 10 guys there. Okay, so I guess we went to the pre-game before the actual game. Are y'all following me? And they're like, yo, what's up, bro? I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. Welcome in. You want some beers, bro? Or like maybe some Jello shots? And I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'll take a Jello shot and I guess I'll take a beer. Sure, that sounds great. I start drinking a little bit. And then they're like, hey, bro, we're going to go outside and smoke a little cigarette. You want a dart? And I'm like, sure, I guess. Like, sure, I guess this is what frats do. I'm going outside. I go outside. I start talking to this random dude. I can't remember his name. It was like Alex or something. And I followed him on Instagram. Kind of cool guy, I guess. Told me he like trauma dumped his life. And then I come back in and they're like, so listen, bro, we were just talking inside and I just want to say we think you're really dope and cool. And we'd like to invite you maybe to rush into our frat. I turned to my roommate. It's my roommate, Ziggy. I turned to him. I'm like, you fucking brought me to a goddamn trial run of a frat? No. I didn't come here to join Kappa Sigma. I came here to hang out and have a good time and maybe drink a little, chat up some huzz, and go home. What the fuck are we doing here? And I'm like, okay, so I'm just curious, right? I'm trying to be nice. So I'm like, well, let's talk about this little frat. You know, let's sit down at the table, have a nice little business deal, sharks. And they go, all right, bro. So it's honestly, it's pretty easy, man. Like the way it's going to work is it's just so simple, bro. Everyone does it. And we're like a family. We're a bang. Pause. You tell me the word family, immediately I'm already off the rails, freaking the fuck out. This is no family. You are not my brother. I did not grow up with you. No, I'm not gonna pull my pants down and be like, yeah, man, I've seen your cock, dude. We're brothers. Tap it up. Yeah, getting forcefully recruited, imagine. Could not be me. Well, it was kind of almost me. So I'm popping in. I'm chilling. And they're like, okay, so here's how it works. Like the first week or two you rush and it's something called a dry week. And you go in there, you're not allowed to drink or have alcohol or smoke any weed, do any drugs. But you know, you get through those first 2 weeks. They're really hard, bro. And trust me, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the events, we're not supposed to have alcohol. But I'll slip you a few because I think you're cool, bro. And thank you for meeting us ahead of time. This is like going on your first date with a girl and being like, I love you. I think we're going to get married. Like, hold on, man. Hold on. Take me out to dinner first. And so we keep talking. And I said, so I've heard a couple of stories of you guys doing some pretty crazy shit to my friend Ziggy over here. You want to go ahead and tell me what y'all been... And they're like, yeah, bro. So, you know, a couple of them are pretty easy. You know, we like to do this thing pretty easy where we tie your hands behind a chair like this. And then, you know, your hands are tied to a rope next to a couple of the bros that you're rushing with. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and feed you a couple of things you probably don't know. You know, it's all about trusting in us, bro, and you know, just being a part of the family and going through tough times with your brothers, and that's what really makes you a part of you know, the fraternity. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and blindfold myself, put myself in this chair, and you're just gonna forcefully feed shit in my mouth. Like, what are y'all feeding me? And they're like, oh, you know, like last year we did a raw onion, bro. The other year we did cold hot dogs. I'm like, okay, man. Like, you know, I don't think I don't think this is gonna be for me personally. And this is what I'm thinking in my head, and I'm trying to be so respectful, because the instant that you are disrespectful in the midst of any frat party, any frat bro's house, you are putting a target, red arrows, ding, 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 right on your head. It's not that it's intimidating, it's just uncomfortable. You don't want to be there in the midst of this. And I don't care what anyone says. There are very select few, and by very select few, there's like 2 or 3 fraternities out there that are actually not fraternities, but what they are, academic fraternities, which in my eyes is what is believed to be foundational idea of a fraternity. Like, you join and you actually meet real connects, and they hook you up talking to like different professors and researchers and stuff, and med school students and doctors, and like, yeah, that's cool. That's not what this is though. This is a bunch of like 6-year, 8-year college kids, just another word for alcoholics. I leave the house, I go and party. It was a great time. I got shit-faced. All they had at this party was straight Jello shots. Dude, they put straight Everclear in every single Jello shot. It was horrid. But after the first one, you get used to it. It burns a little, and you're like, oh, at least the sugar coats my throat, you know, after I take one of these or 2. I don't remember who I talked to. Had a good time. Avoided getting trapped into a fraternity, and I somehow scammed the shit out of them by just being a wholesome college kid. And me and Ziggy went home, and it was cool, man. And like a week or 2 later, me and Ziggy are hanging out. We're like smoking on the balcony, chilling. And I'm like, hey, Ziggy, so I need to ask you about this whole hazing thing. Can you be honest with me for a second? What is like the worst thing they have done to you so far? And he goes, for the last thing that we had to do for our like hazing era, if you will, while they're trying to get into the fraternity, he said what they would do is all of the brothers, like all the members of the fraternity, would like either be up in the middle of the night, or they would wake up in the middle of the night. These are the members, right? The original members. They all wake up at like 4 a.m., maybe 5. It's the middle of the week. They're driving a U-Haul truck, and they're driving to your apartment, your house, your parents' house, wherever the fuck you live. And they pull up and they hop inside, however they get let in, turn all the lights off, and they kidnap you. They put a fucking bag over your head, and they carry you out to the goddamn U-Haul. They put you in the back of the U-Haul. You're tied up, and you get brought to some random field or like some random house, and they're like, in this fraternity's front yard, steal their sign and take off. 99% of this shit has to be illegal, right? Like, that is some crazy, crazy shit. You know what's even crazier than that? At a different college I went to, same concept, like a fraternity does the whole hazing thing. There was a kid, allegedly, and you can look this up. There's a kid who went to college in Texas, and he apparently got so fucked up, and they weren't watching the kid, that he ended up killing himself, or he like fell down some steps and hit his head and died. Doesn't matter. Long story short, the kid killed himself, and he's dead. And he was only like 20, I think, maybe 19. It was the saddest thing ever, because I specifically remember that news story coming out, and the parents in every single fraternity got investigated that same weekend, and people were getting reprimanded. There was a lot of evidence that came out. A lot of people got kicked out. A lot of fraternities were like on probation and almost got shut down. It was a very big deal. There is a true dark side to fraternities, and I'm sure a lot of people do not deny it, whether you've been in one or not. I know everyone and their grandma has just heard of the horror stories, but man, oh, those people suck. They suck. If you can think of like, just go open Twitter and you'll find at least 30 of those people that have been in fraternities. Allegedly, though, sororities aren't that bad. Allegedly. Look, end of the day, the one thing I will say is I refuse to pay for friends. I've never paid for a friend, and I will never pay to have friends. That doesn't mean I go subscribe to Gappy V or you gonna doesn't mean that I wouldn't pay to be their friend, okay?